Hello and welcome to another session of my podcast series, which we're calling A Sanity Spot. And I'm very excited today to have Suzanne Murdock from the Hub Co-working space in Newry. Welcome, Suzanne. And thank you. And I thought today we'd talk about co-working and really how and why you started the Hub. So do you want to tell us a bit about the Hub just to start off?
Yeah, of course. So myself and my husband moved back from London back in 2009, and we were both self-employed in finance at the time. I obviously hadn't lived here before, so I didn't really have a community as such, didn't really have a network of people to bounce ideas off of. And it was actually in the middle of the recession, so it wasn't really viable for a lot of people who were self-employed to get office leases back then. We'd seen the co-working model working really well in Europe. So after working at the Port Academy for the first couple of years, we thought we need to do something here. So we were lucky enough to come across an office, and we thought we'd try and rent a few desks and see how this co-working model could evolve. And it did slowly but surely. It took a lot of work, but after about 2 years, we'd filled up some Colemans, and basically it allowed us to build that network and the community, not only from the employment perspective, but from a personal perspective as well. So we got to know people in the area, got to know things about the area, asked people about families and, what would help. Things that you might not necessarily realise, but you need to bounce different ideas off in your personal life as well, which that really helped to do. And it helped grow the business as well. And then after the first couple of years, the co-working model, which was, I think, one of the first in Northern Ireland, actually grew and allowed us to open up our second space. So the model evolved quite naturally, actually.
Yes, yeah, because I came back to Northern Ireland in 2014, and you had started then, and there were a few.
Yeah, 2012 we took off there.
Yeah, there were a few.
But it was a very slow concept to take off in this area, because, as I said, it hadn't happened before. So I think the first couple of years was really about educating people exactly what co-working is, and trying to convince people as to why would they want to do that? Why would people want to work with other people in one big open plan office when they could have their own office? Yeah, so there's all the different benefits in terms of educating people there as well.
Yeah, because I know even when I started as a virtual assistant, I spent a lot of time as well in Northern Ireland trying to educate people what a virtual assistant is and how it can help your business, because it wasn't a very well-known concept in Northern Ireland either. So I feel your pain with that one.
And all the different areas that it can take off, and there's lots of different niche areas that you can expand your business within, as you know yourself.
Yes, yeah. And now it's great because now you have 3 offices, isn't that right, in Newry?
Mm-hmm. So the second office basically transpired as a result of that we started off with in St Colemans back in 2012. A lot of the first members were one-man bands like ourselves. They were either just brand new startups or had been working from home. And I think the support network that the Hub gave them, the co-working space gave them, allowed them to grow their businesses organically and then take on staff, etc. And that in itself gave the necessity for them to have bigger spaces. So then we got Abbey Yard, I think 2014-15, and that's more of private office spaces. So people are a bit more self-sufficient there, but they've got still that business community aspect, so that it's still within the co-working model.
Yes, yeah. And I know you have Maggie's Cafe, because I met someone there not that long ago, which is a great space, because that's sort of just a space where people can go and relax, but you're having an events and all kinds of things in there now as well, aren't you?
Yeah, so we opened up Margaret Street. So basically I think over the last couple of years, the whole co-working model has really turned on its head, in that there's a lot of overlapping with the hospitality aspects, the hotel aspects. So you need to have a space. A lot of people are demanding more out of their working environments now. They want different working environments throughout the day. They want meeting spaces, quiet spaces, places where they can break off, but they still want their own private office or desk space. So Margaret Street has allowed us to do that. We've got Maggie's Co-working Cafe, which is a space for other public business people to come and do hot desking or have meetings, etc. And there's lots of events happening there. And then we've got meeting spaces with a roof garden there as well. as well as the usual hot desking and office spaces. So it's everything under one roof, so it gives you more of a balance.
Yes, yeah. And I know the day that I was there, I was really impressed with the food, because it's really good, healthy, good food for the brain. And there's so many places that you go to, it's just sausage rolls and sausage rolls. And if you have a diet like that, it doesn't give you any energy, any brain energy to continue the rest of the day. So,
well, we do have sausage rolls, but
that's all right.
but they're good, healthy, clean sausage rolls. But no, the whole premise when we set up Maggie's was that it would be good, clean food. And I'm very much into my the biophilia bus, so the bringing the green into the workplace, biophilia and permaculture, as you know yourself a lot about. And so we've our roof garden as well, so we can use the herbs, etc., in the cafe. So there's all of that going on, and involving the members and visitors community with the whole holistic approach, I guess, as well.
Yes, yeah.
So
and you've mentioned, it's interesting actually, because you've mentioned community there on so many levels. So you started the hub because you wanted the community to bounce ideas off. Now you have 3 different spaces with people bouncing their ideas off, and you've created a community with inside a community. So it really is, it's that whole idea of sort of...
And outside as well, Alison. So I think this only really dawned on me when we opened up Margaret Street, because there were so many avenues we could go down, especially the wellbeing side, is that your community isn't just the people that are inside your own 4 walls. It goes much further out than that. So we would partner up with lots of different co-working spaces, the Irish Co-working Assembly, European Co-working Assembly, Clanry, we partnered up with them. So there's lots of different groups of people and areas where you can bounce ideas off of. So, I mean, our members from all different industry backgrounds, and there's always someone that they can go and share their ideas off or network with, and grow their business that way. So it's not just people inside the 4 walls itself.
Yes, it's everything. Because I know that you place a big emphasis on sort of the whole holistic view of things, but also very much about the mental welfare of people who come to work in your space. Because a lot of us, like myself, are total sole traders. I live by myself. I work mostly at home. And actually, if you're going into a space like that, all it takes is and maybe you're having a really bad day or a really bad week and don't want to talk to people. And then all it takes is someone, to say, oh, do you want a cup of tea? And you start to chat, and actually you start to tell them your problems. And then you realize, oh, actually, sort of a problem shared. What is it? A problem halved is a problem shared. Vice versa. Yeah. That actually you're a lot less stressed because you've got someone to talk to, and it doesn't seem so overwhelming.
No, I agree with that. And I think that's happening more and more now, especially when the whole working methodology across the globe is changing. So you've got a lot more remote workers who might be on the road a lot, commuting a lot. But now co-working spaces have opened up, and employers are a lot more on side to let those employees work from nearer home. So if you've got co-working, then they can benefit from that. They've got a community, there's less commuting, there's more health on their doorstep, if you like, that they can benefit from. And then, as you said, you've got people sitting right next to you who might change from day to day, the industry backgrounds or personalities, etc. But there's always someone to speak with and share concerns, or even good days with. It's not just bad things we share.
Yes.
But it works well from that perspective.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about co-working spaces is as well that even if you're stuck with a problem, you could go in and talk to someone, and someone else could solve your problem in 2 seconds. Or you could hear...
You can't wait your printer, but someone else can.
Yes, yeah. Or, that you hear them saying, oh, I can't find such and such. And you're like, well, I know, 10 people that do that, so it's great. It's
even
great.
down to you have a problem with your bathroom, you need your bathroom fixed or something. Someone always knows somebody.
Yes, yeah. So it's great. Yeah. And now with dare I mention the Brexit word, I actually think that in Newry you're sort of in an ideal location where you are now, because you can have people.
Well, I hope so. Let's see what happens. But we're right smack bang on you couldn't get more on the border, could you really?
Yeah.
But I think the key is being adaptable, flexible, and just evolving your model as to what your members actually need.
Yes.
And one of your questions later down the line is, what advice would you give? I think to any business owner, it would be don't be rigid. Don't try and control the way you want your business to go, because it doesn't work that way. You know, serendipity happens, things naturally occur, and they occur for a reason. So I just think don't be too set in how you want the things to expand in your business.
Yeah, because I know now I have lots of people, and I don't know if I've attracted those people in or how that has happened, but I have lots of people who either deal with animals or are in sort of the green space somehow. So people, I feel like Dr. Doolittle some days with different animals. Yeah. And you know, that's the thing, you shouldn't fight that. If people are coming to you like that, well, there's obviously a reason for that, you know.
Yeah, you can't be too scripted, I think.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And all these business models and business plans in the world, a bit like your birthing plans, you know, nothing ever goes to plan.
Yeah, you just
good or bad.
Good or bad. And you know, you've talked about your spaces, you talked about the rooftop garden. Where do you go? What is your sanity spot when you're stressed out? What do you like to do, or where do you like to go?
My garden.
Your garden.
Anything green, anything outdoors, definitely my garden. Walking.
And is that why you've built the little roof, the roof space, the roof spot space as well? Did you think, oh, I'll create a little space on the roof and that'll be the go-to place for people?
Yeah, I think being in the city centre especially, you need somewhere outdoors, and there's very few green spaces that you can go to.
Yeah.
We are right slap in the city centre. And I think seeing the other models in Europe, they all have some sort of outdoor space, and it just really benefits everyone that uses the spaces.
Yeah. So you just have to get some bees next. That'll be your next. You'll have a
that's where you come
in. Excellent. And we didn't mention at the start, but what you were in finance, did you say, before you actually started the
so I originally worked for Lloyds TSB Corporate in London, and then we moved over here 2009. And I'd left Lloyds by that point, had my first child, and I was doing headhunting in the finance property side of things. But then the recession kicks in. And my husband was also self-employed in finance, so we concentrated on that business, and then moved into St Coleman's Park with his business, and then the hub basically was born from that.
Yeah, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And what piece of advice, you mentioned earlier on about not being too rigid in your business structures and all the rest, but is that the one piece of advice that you would give to business owners over everything else, and sort of how to run their business successfully?
Yeah, I think don't be too scripted. Listen to the people that you're working with, be it staff, members, customers. Listen to what they want and how you can grow, because that ultimately will help your business succeed if you're listening to what your customers are telling you. But also being able to step away from the business when you need to.
Yes.
Take those breaths. Have a good core team that you know you can rely on. Yes, you might need to step in once or twice during the day, but ultimately you can step away for a bit of a rest.
Mm-hmm.
And having that confidence to do that.
Yes, yeah, and that's hard. It's hard to actually sort of delegate your work like that over to someone else.
It is really hard. Delegation is really hard.
Yeah. Because I find that with clients I have, that is the hardest thing. That once people actually go, okay, I'm going to hand this over. It's okay, but it's like, you know, having the baby. Here you go.
I remember before I took on Abby, who is one of my colleagues, last September. It was only a year ago, but before then, I'd worked with yourself on the VA side of things, and that was a huge thing for me to give you work to do, because you're entrusting your entire business essentially to somebody else. But I think once you've done that, then bit by bit you can give away, so to speak, give away more.
Yeah, it gets a bit easier.
Yeah.
The thing, I'm actually running an online course at the moment, and one of the modules is all about your ideal working conditions and your physical space, but actually how much your physical space also affects your mental space, and sort of vice versa. And I know for myself that sometimes my office gets quite cluttered, and then you just get to a stage you go, okay, I have to get out of here and go somewhere else, and I want to go somewhere clean and beautiful, like working space. And then actually when you do that, you know, your head is in a totally different space, and it's sort of like having writer's block, that if you're very stuck on something, the actual fact of going to a different space can free up all kind of creative ideas.
You work in your allotment.
Yes, that's what I should do. I just
bees around you.
bees all around me with my bee suit on. I just need to get one of those screen. It hasn't been invented yet. A screen that you can put over your laptop, so on very sunny days you can still sit outside. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what we need, isn't it? That's what we need. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's been very, very interesting.
Welcome. Thank you.
I saw on your website actually you've got the list of events or workshops and things that are happening in your different spaces as well, which is great. So I saw you had yoga up there on a Friday morning to keep everybody.
Oh yeah, that's starting this Friday. Looking forward to that. Flexible. We might get Pilates soon as well.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So if people want to find out more, then they can check out your website, the Facebook page,
LinkedIn, Instagram. Yeah, we're across all the platforms.
Yes, yeah, the Hub Newry.
Yeah,
great.
And the Maggie's Cafe is part of that website too.
Yes,
hubnewry.com.
Great. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll be join soon.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Alison.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.